Hey, what's up? Good morning, and welcome to Tone Official. It is November 1st, 2024, and I got some time today. So we are officially 4 days away from the presidential election, and we have entered garbage time, both figuratively and literally. Right? You know how in basketball, when a team is down by 30 points and a guy has 10 points, but at the end of the game he ends up with 30. Those points don't matter. Those are garbage points. That's where we are. Where nothing, no one says matters. Where nothing, no one does matters. Right? I mean, we're at the point now where the candidates, Kamala and Donald Trump, aren't even attacking each other. Now the supporters are attacking each other. Right? So you have at the Madison Square Garden, this comedian, his name is Kill Tony, I believe his name is. They call him Kill Tony, right? He went on stage, the Madison Square Garden, at a Trump rally and said some pretty stereotypical, controversial, racial things. But the one that stood out was one where he said that Puerto Rico was a floating pile of garbage. So of course the Democrats are going to hop on that and say, "Oh, that's messed up. How dare he talk about Puerto Ricans this way? How dare he talk about Puerto Rico that way?" Right? A lot of Puerto Ricans came out and they were defended by it. Um, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. So then, in turn, President Biden came out and he said that Trump supporters are the ones that are garbage. So now the Republicans have jumped on that, right? He hopped on that. Oh no, no, we did a thing. Now he did a thing. He did it. He did it. He did a thing. He did a thing. Oh, y'all don't like calling people garbage. Y'all hate that. We call people garbage. Y'all were upset. Now he did it to us. Now we have a right to be upset, right? No, you don't. No, you don't. What you have the right to be is empathetic and understand now how they felt when y'all side did it. That's what you have the right to do. But no, no, there's no empathy. No, no. What the Trump campaign did was say, oh, we don't know who the guy was. We don't know who he was. We don't know how he got in. He must have snuck into the back, but he gave us this great introduction to himself. So we just let him speak. We don't know who he was. That's what they did. They pretty much just disowned him, as they do with a lot of people that either mess up their campaign, uh, says things against their agenda. They just disown you, just like they disown the January 6th people. At the same time, he says, "I didn't do that. That was them. I had nothing to do with that. Those people are criminals, and I asked for the National Guard and the police to come in and arrest them." The same breath he'll say that. The same breath he'll say it was all love and peace, and they showed up for a great speech. So which one is it, right? So they constantly disown people, constantly just throw people away who they feel is a threat to Trump getting into the White House. Um, and it's funny, it's ironic because he's the one that's always talking about loyalty. I mean, are we really surprised that Joe Biden came out and said these things? I mean, everybody's like, "Oh my God, Joe Biden came out and called people garbage." Okay, are we surprised by this? Now, Trump and Joe Biden are alike in so many ways. They are alike because neither one of them do not care about offending a group of people. Trump has done it his whole campaign since 2016 till 2020 to now. He has people on stage who offends a group of people. He does it himself. Joe Biden goes back to the 70s where he's offended a group of people, Indians, Puerto Ricans, blacks.
Like and subscribe, ring bell for notifications to keep up with more great content.
And before I move on, I just want to say this. In this whole mess where everybody is throwing around slander and name calling, There's only one person who is not involving themselves in these matters, and that's Kamala Harris. She refuses, and she has said so. She has stated on many occasions, even during the Brett Baer interview, when he tried to pressure her, tried to coerce her into calling Trump supporters stupid. He said, and I quote, "Are Trump supporters stupid?" She said, "No." "Oh, you don't find Trump supporters to be stupid or ignorant?" Or she said, "No." Kamala Harris says she refused to name call people, to name call Americans based on who they vote for. But Trump himself has no problem doing that. Biden himself has no problem doing that. And Biden has done it for what, 70, 80, 90, 2000, 2010s, 2020, 2020. How many decades is that? Remember he said you can't walk into a Indian 7-Eleven without speaking Indian. He said that Barack Obama was the first ever clean and bright African American that this country has ever seen. The first bright and articulate and clean African American that this country has ever seen. Not Sidney Poitier, not Denzel Washington, not Frederick Douglass. I mean, not the people that came before Barack Obama and the ones that are after him today. Barack Obama is the first ever clean, bright African American in American history. Joe Biden is also the one who wrote the crime bill. And you should have heard the language that he used to describe the people that this crime bill will be targeting. He also said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. So despite all that, oh yeah. No, and I can't forget the big one too, where in the 70s, during segregation, here in Delaware, there was a busing issue where blacks will be able to bus outside of their neighborhoods and go into other schools. And he said he didn't want his kids going to a racial jungle. I'm from Delaware. My parents are from Delaware. My parents went to segregated schools here in Delaware. My dad went to an all-black high school at William Henry Middle School. He tells me all about it. So this stuff is not made up stories that people are just making up. We lived it. I didn't live it personally, but my family lived it, and they tell me all about it. How a guy like that became senator of Delaware, and now the president of the United States of America. And that's why I say none of this stuff matters. Because Joe Biden has a long history of this. Puerto Ricans act like they so. Oh my God, uh, defended, offended by what this guy said on the Trump stage. Biden has a long history of defending Puerto Ricans, blacks, Indians, guys, the president of the United States of America. So miss me with your outrage. I mean, we all know it's about the Puerto Rican population is a huge population. They can swing this election left or right. So therefore, we have to let you know what the Trump campaign think of you Puerto Ricans. Oh, Biden called Trump supporters garbage. So we have to let you know what the Democrats think of you right wingers. So once again, we're at this point where it's us versus them, and no one is trying to bring people together, except for Kamala Harris. Now, I said before my last video, I'm not swinging left or right in this thing, but she looking better and better every time because she looks like the only person between Trump, and Biden's not even running. But they're trying to use Biden's words to hurt Kamala, even though Kamala said, I don't agree with that. I will never do that. And she has never done that. But this all started with Trump versus Clinton, all this divisiveness. When Trump called people low IQ, threatened to put them in prison, name calls, fights the media, fights athletes, name calls everyone who disagrees with him. That's what he does. He name calls like a 2-year-old in a back who has nothing smart to say or can't articulate his point, so he just name calls. You got Clinton with calling everybody deplorables, and they're trying to use this new garbage thing that Biden says, a new deplorable thing, because as Trump said, how did it work out in 2016 when she called everyone deplorables? So we have officially entered garbage time, you know, and Trump wants to keep it divisive. Kamala wants to bring everybody together. But I don't see how her becoming president will do that, because you have this MAGA base who was so angry and so upset. Yes, angry. I've met you. I was on that side. I voted for Trump twice. I was in the midst of it. I was delusional. I've seen it. I lived it. I witnessed it. Up to still, I was there for it. I was all for it. Oh man, it's still in the election. Oh man. Oh man. Sidney Powell get on TV every day. Here's the Kraken. Here's the Kraken. Here's the Kraken. Here's the Kraken. Tomorrow, tune in. The Kraken. Tomorrow, tune in. The Kraken. Hey, the Kraken's coming. Hey, the Kraken's here. Hey. And then on inauguration day, they said tune in. It's gonna be a big unveiling. And I'm thinking this is it. They're waiting until Biden gets certified. Before he gets certified, they drop the news and bring out all the evidence. Oh, he got him now, boys. I was there. In the end, Ellis, Powell, and Giuliani were all found guilty of election interference, election fraud, and trying to steal the election. They got sued. They went to jail. They lost a lot of money, lots of furniture, lots of lots of personal belongings. And Trump walked away unscathed. How is that possible? I don't know. That the people who defended him in court were found guilty on these charges, but he was not, even though it was him that they were defending. How is that? So I left. I said, no, man, this MAGA thing, nah. It is like a cult. You get sucked in the excitement. You get sucked in the rallies, the movement. And I say this because as long as there's a MAGA movement, no Democrat will ever be able to bring this country together. As long as there are a MAGA movement, this country will forever be divided. And I'm not saying that the Democrats had done their part with the whole I can't remember her name, but when she said, if you see a Trump supporter at a rally, at a restaurant, at a gas station, you approach them, you push them out, you tell them they're not wanted. So I'm not saying that the Democrats haven't done their part. Supporters of the Democrats running in Trump people's lawns and snatching their signs. Trump supporters getting punched in the face, their hats getting snatched off their heads. So both sides are guilty of the divisiveness. Even when Biden ran, as much as he vowed to be president of all Americans, he has not, because he has been so divisive. And that's the way he has always been since the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2015, 2020s, 2024. He's always been that way. Now we finally got someone like Kamala Harris who says, I'm not going to involve myself in the divisiveness. I'm not going to name call Americans. But as long and if even if she loses and someone comes out after her, a white male that white men can you know relate to. The white men can't relate to a black woman. That's just the way it goes. That's just reality. And I'm surprised that Kamala Harris is getting as much women support as she is because women usually don't support other women. That's just reality. But if someone comes after Kamala Harris, let's say uh, uh, DeSantis, who I was hoping would run and dropped out like J. Cole from the Kendrick and Drake beef, couldn't take the heat. Let's say someone else comes up and try to bring this country together. As long as there is a MAGA movement, this country will always be divided. And this is why, right here. Trump was Times Person of the Year. And this is the picture that he took. They set his ass up. As you can see, it says the divided states of America. All right. You are supposed to be the president of the United States of America. You vow to be president of all people. Why would you allow yourself to be subject to this type of treatment? Why would you say, you know what? I don't know who idea this is, but it's a great idea. I'll go along with it. Are you that happy to be president of the United States of America? Are you that happy, that excited to be person of the year that you don't even pay attention to what they're saying about you? Forget I'm the president. I'm the Time Person of the Year. Forget the fact that they say the president of the United States of America. That doesn't matter to me. How does that not matter? This imagery suggests a leader who is both aware of and perhaps complicit in the division, surveying the chaos and discord that have marked his presidency. Right? So if you see him looking over his shoulder as he sits there and looking back over his shoulder, he's surveying the chaos and he's looking at the discord that have marked his presidency. Right? This was before actually he became president. So, it kind of like it shows like a foreshadow of the kind of president he's going to be. The cover serves as a powerful visual metaphor for the era of division and discord, encapsulating the nature of his leadership and its impact on national unity. This is what we call in psychology. We call this a self-fulfilling prophecy. All right. So pretty much, it's when you become something because that's what people expect of you, right? So I used to uh, work at Lowe's. Okay, I worked in the lumber department, and I used to be always covered in dust and concrete dust and dirt and sweat when I left work, you know. And during my when I was getting my bachelor's degree, I would leave work and go straight to go straight to school. So a lot of times, and I didn't stink. All right, I just looked the part. You know, I wore steel toe boots. They were covered in concrete dust and sweat, but I didn't stink. Right, but what I would do is when I got to school, I would sit in the back. Right, because I was aware of how I looked. Right, so I didn't want to sit around people, so I sat in the back as courtesy to them. Right, so my teacher saw me, come into class, looked the way I looked, sitting in the back, you know, and they assumed that I wasn't serious about my education goals. And I know this because when we had our first test, our first quiz, I got an A minus on it, and they handed me my quiz. Came up to my desk personally, handed my quiz, and said, "Very good. I really didn't expect this." And I said, "Why?" And he told me because of things that I just explained. Now, had and I knew I knew that's how the teacher viewed me because when I raised my hand, they would kind of like gloss over me, you know. So you get a feeling when people are stereotyping you. You get a feeling. So I knew this was going down, but I didn't care. I came to class to work. Now, had I said, "Oh, this teacher is just glossing over me. This teacher don't take me serious. They must think I'm just here to goof around, to collect a financial aid check at the end of the month." And had I just showed up because the attitude that they had on me, and I didn't do my work, I didn't go to class, then you know what? That person's thoughts of me would have been correct. And I allowed it to be correct because I leaned into it like this is what you think of me, so therefore this is what I'm going to give you. We call that a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's what this picture is. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy because this is what his presidency became to be. So whoever allowed him, his team, to take this picture is the same people who allowed that comedian to get on stage and tell those jokes. Who allowed Trump to eat to have a known racist over for dinner at his house. And it's funny how he always says, I don't see myself as racist. I don't see myself as stereotypical. I don't see myself as these people. But yet you surround yourself with these people. And these people are always talking on your behalf, and you have to come out and say, no, that's not me, dog. So as long as there is a MAGA movement, this country will always be divided. And that's official.